of course, we got our residential Chelsea fan, Jack. Let's just get your thoughts, really. You know, if you want to rant, now is the time. Get it out your system. Let's be having you. What did you feel? How do you feel, really, after that game?
Well, to be fair, it does make me wonder, because the Bournemouth games where we lost 4-0, the Tottenham game, was that 3-0 or 4-0? And then the Arsenal game as well, that was 3-0.
Yeah.
We played worse in them games than we did yesterday, and we lost 6-0. We actually played okay first half. Second half, we were nowhere. But first half, we weren't too bad. But it was the fact that there's just so many mistakes individually as well. The first goal, Alonso, I don't know what Alonso's doing. Third goal, Ross Barkley assists. He just heads it back to him.
Yeah.
Which I honestly didn't know what the hell he was doing in that situation. The second goal, which was Aguero's first, was just... I think he was so angry with his early miss that he just thought, I'm going to whack this.
Yeah.
And you couldn't do anything about that. But just individual errors, a sort of... I honestly don't know what to say. There's so many things you could go into, but...
The one stat that I did see, and I think they mentioned this on Sky Sports as well, and it was on Up to Joe as well, is that this is Chelsea's biggest defeat in the league since they played against Nottingham Forest, and they lost 7-0 in April 1991. So I thought, I'll take that.
It's longer than I've been alive. That's how bad.
That's how bad it was. So
life was good until that.
What do you think it came down to then in that game? Do you think it was down to the players then in that instance that they lost in that capacity against a side that should be, they should be competing against for the title? I mean, do you put it down to the players then? Because this is Sarri once again. It looks like he's unable to motivate the players, but to a certain extent, as a Premier League footballer in a position at Chelsea Football Club, you must be motivated enough to a certain extent to do well on the pitch. But after 2 minutes, they were already down.
I blame the players. Obviously, have to take responsibility. I mean, if they're 3-0 down, even if the manager's told you to do something else, you think in the back of your mind you all come together and go, right, let's not let any more in. Forget what Sarri's telling you, in a sense, and just say, right, let's just make sure we don't get absolutely thrashed. Because if you keep playing Sarri's way, we're going to lose more goals. So I think the players have to sort of take responsibility in that. But I blame the manager in the fact that he just doesn't change what he's doing. And I know he's consistent and he says, I'm going to win it my way or I'm going to do it my way. But in some extent, you've got to look at it and you think, every game is exactly the same. I looked at the team sheet like every Chelsea fan has done for the last 6 months, and it goes, that's almost exactly the same as it was the week before.
Yeah.
The only thing that made me a little bit happy before the start of the game was the fact that we were playing Pedro, Higuain and Hazard. And I thought, that's okay. You look at the midfield, and you're playing Jorginho in the same role, you're playing Kante in the same role, and you're playing Alonso and Azpilicueta in the same roles where they're just not good enough. Alonso, at this moment in time, because he's not playing as a wing-back, he's playing like Alexander Kolarov did at Man City. And you know what Pep Guardiola did with that? He wasn't good enough. And where Alonso's playing at the minute, he can't defend, so he's pointless. Azpilicueta is being moulded into a centre-back from Antonio Conte's three-back formation, and now he can't play as a right back, so don't play him as a right back. David Luiz into two centre-back position, can't play with just one person, he needs two people around him. So he can pass the ball all he likes, but to do the actual job he's put there to do, he can't defend properly. So, looking at that team sheet, it's like every week is the same. Jorginho
Would you say you're too predictable then now?
Well, obviously, because Jorginho is the weakest player on the pitch, and every manager who plays us every week, they probably go, just take out Jorginho.
Yeah,
go for Jorginho because he can't run. He's not strong enough, and if he's being like man marked, he can't pass the ball either. What's the point in him being there?
There's 42 players on that Chelsea system that could get an opportunity, and just try and offer something different, like Hudson-Odoi, for example.
Yeah.
Well, and I just don't get it. I mean,
honestly.
I understand Jack's fate because United have had some bad times, and you can blame managers and all that, but I don't know. I don't get the Chelsea system because people can blame Sarri for the defeat, and I would, but at the same time, you just think, well, hang on a minute. These are the same players that couldn't get motivated under Mourinho on his last season, couldn't get motivated by Conte, now Sarri, even under an assistant manager as a legend at the club of Gianfranco Sola. So what is going on? Roberto Di Matteo had players that are still there now, like Hazard, who couldn't get motivated under it. This is my problem with footballers. They're not actually professional, some of these players. They don't take the defeat hard. You don't hear Hazard or anyone saying, "Oh, I'm sorry for the defeat." It's not just dance. You don't actually hear a footballer defend a manager anymore. You never actually hear a player say, "Oh, it's our fault. It just didn't work out," or we're behind the manager no matter what happens to him, even if he has a meeting the next morning and he's going to get sacked. That's my problem with football. You can keep sacking managers, but it doesn't work.
There was 2 players after our game that apologised. One was Azpilicueta,
And he's a loyal player.
because he did an interview. The second one was...
Were they both in the mix zone? Do you know? Or were they on social media? Or where were
It was
these
an
apologies?
interview after the game by the Chelsea
So in the
website.
mix zone then, yeah.
Yeah, but
okay.
the one that actually went to the fans at the end was Antonio Rudiger. Everyone else just sort of applauded them. He went into the crowd and apologised, because there was a video online. He apologised to the Chelsea fans who travelled all that way. And that's the thing, all them fans travelled all that way, and you just watch a horrible show. And the thing is, they won't get refunded with their tickets.
No.
Yeah.
But when you watch something as bad as that, you think, that was a lot of money they spent to travel as well as watch the game, and it was just a horror to watch. I mean, 3 minutes in, you're already a goal down.
And Chelsea have burnt so many bridges now with managers, big name managers like Ancelotti, Mourinho, Conte. The list goes on, Ranieri, and all that. You just think it gets to that point with Chelsea where you think, well, if you get rid of Sarri, who's next?
Yeah.
It's just going to carry
the
on.
fans were even chanting during the game that you need Mourinho. I
Come on.
I don't know. Do you believe Sarri still has the players on his side then after yesterday's performance, or you don't think so?
I don't. Honestly, you just don't know anymore. It's like Sarri is stubborn and will continue in his way, and whether the players are happy about that. I mean, N'Golo Kante said in an interview that he's happy in the position he's playing, but he must be the only person in the football club that's happy.
He must be the only person in the world that's happy in the position that he's playing, because everyone else thinks that he should be playing elsewhere.
The thing is, it makes me laugh, because if Sarri plays this position and plays him in that area, at some point Sarri's going to go, he's not good enough to play there, I need somebody else.
Yeah.
We will sell N'Golo Kante to somebody like PSG. PSG will put him straight back in his proper position, and they'll probably win the Champions League.
Yeah.
That's the situation that would happen.
What I did see as well, I actually saw a funny exchange on Twitter. It was like a phone call between Sarri and Jose Mourinho. And Sarri was like, "I've got a World Cup winner on my team. How do I get the best out of him?" And Jose Mourinho was like, "Well, for starters, you play him out of position." It's like just unraveled from there. I just found it so funny.
The thing on the stubbornness was,
Yeah.
Jack's got a good point there, because it cost Brendan Rodgers his job at Liverpool because he was stubborn and would not change tactics. It cost AVB his job at Tottenham because he was stubborn and he would not change tactics.
Yeah.
And then obviously when Gareth Bale went, that also hindered Tottenham because obviously he didn't spend the money wisely. But it's the same thing. If you get found out, you've got to change tactics. It's common sense at the end of the day. That you change, you make a change so that teams can't suss you out. And on the players' front of apologising, the only player that I've seen recently on social media apologise for the performance was Ainsley Maitland-Niles at Arsenal at the weekend, and fans were criticising him on Instagram about his performance against Huddersfield, and he just turned around and said sorry, I'll try and improve. And he took their criticism on board, didn't see his backside, and said, I'll improve, I'll do whatever to stay at this football club.
Carragher said in the Sky Sports coverage after the game, and during halftime as well, because he already came to that analysis, that Chelsea are soft and they've essentially become the new Arsenal, the team that always looking now to get back into the Champions League, and really they have no long-term plan as to win the title with the current manager that they have. It always seems to be a continuous rotation of managers coming in and out of the football club. Would you agree with that statement? Do you think Chelsea are becoming that kind of team where they rely now on a new face coming in order for a title to be brought in?
That rotation has worked since Abramovich has come in. You look at the sort of impact it's had. My 3 favourite managers were Mourinho, Ancelotti, and Conte, and all of them ended up winning the league. You look at the ones that failed. Scolari, AVB. Rafa Benitez was a very disappointing time in Chelsea.
He won the Europa League.
We won it. He was just the manager.
Yeah, he just guided them.
I mean, I don't think we've got to that sense where we're going to be doing that for for the next 10 years, like Arsenal did. But you look at it and you think, if we don't get into the Champions League this year, we might not even get in the Europa League the way we're playing. But if we don't
Might have
get
to win the
into
Europa League.
if we don't get into the Champions League, that's bye Eden Hazard. You know that you've sold him already because he's not having 2 years where he's not playing in the Champions League.
Yeah.
So Eden Hazard's has gone. But you look at it and you go, where's our leadership? Like 5 years ago, you had
Lampard.
Yeah, we had Cech, Lampard, Terry, Drogba. You look at it now and you think, who is that? 2 years ago you had Diego Costa, who was a striker that was a powerhouse, and every time the team sheet come up against the opposition team,
You scared.
They look at it and they go, oh no, Costa's playing. I remember that Arsenal game. Koscielny and was it Gabriel?
Yeah.
At the back, they didn't know what to do with Diego Costa. Now you look at it, and they probably for the first half they go, "Oh, it's all right, it's only Morata," because that's what it's been like.
It's only Gonzalo.
Well, to be fair, Gonzalo impressed me for
He
the
was
first
called
20 minutes.
Gonzo by David Jones on the Sky Sports coverage, the Muppet. Gonzo the Muppet?
Oh.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
funny nose,
I was
the
just,
alien.
I was just thinking.
For the first 20 minutes, I was watching him and going, oh my God, we've got a striker that actually has a shot.
Yeah.
Because he was actually trying to make an effort to
Yeah.
shoot, and we haven't had
Well,
that for 6 months.
those goals against Huddersfield, like he scored last week, it's like that's not normal. Those are world class goals. That's a striker that you've brought, And I remember Joe said it was only against Huddersfield. It doesn't matter. You still got to perform it. And is it funny as well how Chelsea's season could still be a treble? League Cup, FA Cup, and Europa League. I know it sounds a bit daft, but their season isn't actually over yet.
I don't like sacking managers, but if he wasn't in the final of this Carabao Cup and we weren't in the FA Cup, we would have gone by now.
Yeah.
Or Chelsea finishing in the top 4 this season.
Probably not.